Hey everyone, welcome to R&D Streams Magic. I'm Melissa DeTora here with Donald Smith.
What's up?
And we're playing some Arena. We're going to play some Constructed today.
Yeah, we're going to start off with this Grixis list. It's really just blue-black splashing nickel bolus. This got second at the Magic Online PTQ this past weekend. I've been playing other versions of Grixis, but not this one specifically, so I'm actually just pretty excited to try it out and see how it runs. Like, the list I've been playing doesn't play Thief of Sanity main and just plays less creatures overall, but this one like really leans into the creatures, has a Lazav, Doom Whisper, and all that, so it's a much different take, but I think I'll like it overall. Like, I'm willing to believe it's better than the one I've been running, because against the red decks that I've been having trouble with, you really need to like get a clock on early, which Thief helps a lot.
So how is everyone doing today? There's no chat.
Yeah,
Hello everyone.
Rib chat.
We're here, right?
You have 198 viewers currently.
Okay.
All right.
They'll come out eventually.
So Arena just went into open beta, and like we've all been playing like crazy. And interesting thing about us is like we are just kind of building up our accounts from scratch. So we are experiencing the playing on a budget, not having the right wild cards to craft the stuff, and we're just kind of doing the free to play just so we can experience it the way that all of you guys can experience it. And it's been pretty interesting. So like my personal goal is to just try and not spend any money and just see what the free to play experience is like. So I have some sweet budget decks on my account.
Ooh, Fire Agent. Yeah, I shelled out a bit myself, but I haven't shelled out too much, and I've just been grinding, so I've been loving it.
I've been playing lots of limited. I've probably done about 6 drafts and maybe 3 sealed so far, so I've been building up like quite a good collection.
Oh man.
So, not the best hand here.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll draw a swamp and still probably be dead.
Yeah, probably.
But you know,
There's always hope.
that's life. We did mulligan. The deck probably still works sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept like the 2 steam vents on the, because I was down to 6 and I had the scry. My deck is actually mostly black mana, but
Yeah, you can't go to 5 there. It makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
I just never go to 5 ever, actually.
So how's Lazav?
I don't know, I never cast him yet.
Okay,
Ooh.
I've cast him in my my budget Demir Surveil deck. It's pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet.
Yep, you can go like end of turn, make a spy bug, and then just load up counters on him.
Oh yeah, I remember there was like, it's not really a combo, but it kind of is, where you copy Doom Whisper with Lazav, you pay a bunch of life, and with the surveils on the stack, you then copy a Thoughtbound Phantasm or a Spy Bug
yeah.
and load it up.
Oh, okay, and here's something really interesting that you can do with Lazav. You can cast him, and then with the trigger on the stack, you can turn him into a spy bug or like the Phantasm, that what it's called,
Mm-hmm.
and then he'll just get a surveil trigger. He'll just get a +1/+1 counter,
Yeah.
and he's still Lazav. He's always still Lazav.
Is he still like legendary and stuff?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know the exact text of the card, but I'm pretty sure it's still legendary. Like, I don't think, like, if your Lazav is another person, you can't play a new Lazav. That would be bad. Come on, what's going on here?
Yeah, we have 26 of these.
Come on.
Yeah.
Another thing that is great about the new player experience on Arena is we get 15 decks.
Yeah.
Like 5 monocolor, 10 of the 2 color pair decks, and like that gives you pretty much all of your staples, like your 4 lightning strikes and your shocks and like your, what else is in them?
I mean, they're just like good cards. Like, there's, I know all of them have like a dual land and just a pretty good rare.
That's
so,
right. Yep, they all have the buddy land of the appropriate color pair. They all have 1 mythic and a couple of other rares. but like History of Benalia is in one of them.
Yeah, Rekindling Phoenix is in another.
Sure. Yeah. So like it's a good starting point for your collection. Like like if you don't know what deck you want to build yet, you know, you can play these pre-cons and it'll help you figure it out. And then while you're playing, you're still like accumulating gold and stuff.
Yeah, I remember when I first started, I had like kind of an advantage because I had, you know, I just spent money on the game, and but I remember like I was actually losing to some of the starter decks. I know the specifically like the green one would just go. I built this Grixis deck, but they just go like Vine Mare into Blanchwood Armor, and my deck had 0 outs. I'd go like Nicol Bolas, Rouse Zarek, Doom Whisper, Dream Eater, and they're just like, alright, Vine Mare, Blanchwood, swing sideways. I'm like, okay.
Yep. Also, is your opponent playing M19 draft or what? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was gonna say a zombie deck, but this isn't a zombie. I've actually seen this card just as like the filler zombie.
Yep. Maybe he's playing the mono black precon.
Yeah. I
So,
got smashed so badly game 1 that they're like, okay, we need to throw this guy a softball.
yeah, because you're actually in a constructed event, right? So
Yeah.
you're not getting paired based on your rank.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, this is the precon, I'm pretty sure.
I think I negate this.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you doing? Like, negate is probably dead in most other situations against this deck.
Yeah. He's waiting. He might get me again.
When you activate Lazov's ability, he does not lose any counters. All counters stay. Like, there are certain things that Lazov copies. Like, he copies, well, the rules for copying. You copy name, you copy type, text box, printed power and toughness. But it doesn't copy things like, you don't lose counters if you have counters or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like confusing. It's not exactly the same situation, but I remember like I'd give a Gideon a +1/+1 counter sometimes, and he'd have loyalty and a counter.
Yeah, but you just have 2 different dice on him, you know?
Ooh, my friend said, "What's up, Donald? What's up, Ryan?"
What's up, friend?
Alright, this should close out the game in short order.
Oh, but he has that meteor golem, which might just be dead. We'll see. So, how are you guys liking GRN so far, Guilds of Ravnica? I keep calling it GRN, and people are like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's so hard to get the set names. I know like the Dominaria set name was kind of like that too.
Yeah,
because it was different.
Right.
In the real world.
Yeah. Like the real world, it's DOM, but for us internally, it was DAR. So like some Wizards employees are using DAR, and people are like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And I think on Magic Online, I think it's DAR. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I know for Arena you could search by set, and it was DAR at first. But then they changed it to DOM. But I was just like talking with my friends. I'm like, oh, you can search by set, but for Dominaria you do this. And just all sorts of confusion. But whoa.
Yeah, so
That was
when
a
you
spooky
play
animation.
Lazov, it turns into like a dragon, and then he turns back into himself.
Yeah. Okay. I actually never seen that animation. That's really sweet.
Lazov is going to be my brawl commander.
Ooh.
My brawl mander.
Brawlmander? Is that what they call him now?
That's just what I called it. I don't know. I might actually build that in real life. I have it currently built online, but for when they do singleton on here. Thief of Sanity can be pretty annoying.
Yeah, I'm gonna take all of the things. I was actually playing against the Selesnya token deck the other day, and they were gaining so much life with their lifelink tokens, and I was hitting them with Thief of Sanity, and like
you just decked him, right?
Yeah. I couldn't kill them. I just decked them, and I remember it was so weird because I took their Conclave of the Multitudes, and they swung out with Flourish, and then I conclave just a chump block, so we're both at just unreal life totals. But I just decked them in the end. I had to be careful not to steal their creatures though, because they had a Tristani. But I could steal all their token makers, like their Saproling migration and histories. But I just couldn't take a creature.
Yep. Yeah. That's gonna come up when you play Thief of Sanity. There's the Meteor Golem. But wow, like, so you have 2 of your opponent's murders.
Yep.
They cost 3 colorless mana.
Yeah. No downside murder.
Just murder all the things. What's Lazav gonna become?
Another thief.
Oh, that's so messed up. How could you?
I'm just gonna play all this stuff. I'm the mono black deck now. It's so funny that it takes the card art and everything, but it's just still called Lazav.
Yeah. Technically, the name is still Lazav.
Yeah. I just like it, all the little things, like it keeps the legendary frame and stuff, like paper
Oh yeah,
can't
sure.
really capture that.
Yep. Yeah, in paper you just have to remember what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And Magic is hard enough.
Yeah, it's really interesting, especially like designing cards. Like, I'll come up with a design that, like, I've been playing so much Arena, I'll come up with a design that I'm like, oh my god, this is just so perfect and digital and yada yada, and then like I might like tell it to Andrew. He's like, how are you gonna track that? I'm like, what you mean? He's like, in paper. I'm like, oh yeah. need to remember that. And then sometimes it's the other way, where you'll like think of a sweet design and you'll be like, okay, how would that work in digital? And like 5,000 triggers would go across the screen, and like just wouldn't make any sense. I really like the like some of the things we've been doing, like the severed strands in GRN can only target a thing of opponent's control, so you don't accidentally kill your own creature. I know that happened with like Bone Splinters a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing is creatures that sacrifice themselves, like, for example, Nantuko Husk, right? Like, I remember playing Magic Online years ago, and I'd be like, okay, ready to activate my Nantuko Husk, going for the kill. Oh, where'd it go?
So
I just accidentally clicked on, I just clicked on sacrifice itself. My Nantuko Husk is gone. Where'd he go?
Yeah. Ooh.
But we are working on solving those problems, so the game is just more intuitive to play, and like you don't have things like that happen as often.
My friends call this the flying siege rhino.
Yep.
I think the extra mana though makes it a little bit worse.
Yeah. It is a vampire. That's a little bit of upside.
Little relevant.
So we're playing a constructed event.
Yeah.
So this is, you pick a deck, and if you win 7 times, you get a ton of gold and some cards.
Yeah. You play till you have 3 losses or 7 wins, whichever comes first. And I think like once you go 4 wins, you basically get your gold back. But all along the way you get cards, so you actually come out ahead at 4 wins, and like at 3 wins, you know, I don't know the exact, but I think you're guaranteed like at least a rare, and you get 400 gold back, so you're not like behind by any means.
And you get to play Magic.
Yeah.
That's the best part. So for any Arena specific questions we don't have the answer to, we don't work on Arena. But there is an Arena stream that the devs do every Wednesday at about 2 o'clock, I think. So if you have any questions specifically about Arena, you can ask them on that stream.
Yeah, for questions like social features and formats or whatever, we're just not really equipped to answer it.
We also worked on Guilds of Ravnica, so if you have any questions about any of the cards, feel free to ask us.
Oh, look, we have a little chat command saying that we're not part of the arena team.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, when I look at the chat, I see that a lot. Oh man, this River Sneak. He's so big.
Okay. I think we might actually. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, it's still a 3/3 though. That sucks.
well, at least you can kill 2 things.
Yeah. I think I know what this guy's plan is.
What are the tier 1 decks in Arena? I don't know if we have that information yet.
Yeah. Just the metagame's not defined really. I mean, I don't even think people have really like adapted, I guess, to the Star City games and PTQ results yet. So, but I've been seeing like a lot of fluctuation just in the game in general.
Yeah, like another thing that is pretty interesting about the current state of Arena is everyone had their accounts wiped like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So everyone had to start from scratch. So a lot of people are just working with like the precons and just cards that they've accumulated, or if they like spent money in the past, they got all that money back to spend on future gems and stuff.
Yeah, it depends on what level you're playing at, is what I noticed. Like, I'm playing at probably the highest level, and I'm going into the most competitive queues, but if you go on the ladder, there's an algorithm to match, like, deck strength with each other, so that just creates, like, a slightly different dynamic, where if you play a starter deck, you're probably going to play against another starter deck.
So we're getting some questions.
Oh, we're actually just dead.
Oh, no.
We just died to the Merfolk
So,
deck.
so our first question is, who thought Direct Current, a sorcery speed shock, was worth 1 RR? Well, so, like...
It's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, I don't think it's very fair to call it a sorcery speed shock. Like, the card, while not, like, appropriate rate for constructed, is actually just, like, one of the top draft commons. Like, the ability to throw away a land or a useless card later in the game for an additional 2 damage, while also having the synergy of working with all the instant and sorcery spell triggers, is actually just really valuable.
Yeah, I've seen that comment like a few times, and it's like, wow, this card is so weak. And I'm like, I mean, it's not meant for constructed. It'd be cool if it showed up. I actually have seen it played against me on Arena, and yeah, it just does work in limited. So I know, like, I had turns with Smelt Ward Minotaur. I shock their 2 power creatures. Their big guy can't block. I probably had a Goblin Electromancer or something. It worked out really well.
Next question. Did you think about bringing back Populate? Well, we tried a lot of different Selesnya mechanics before we arrived at Convoke. Populate was actually not one of them, though.
Here's a question I can answer, and
Alright.
I wasn't even on the GRN design team. So someone says never return. The Amonkhet split card is never to return, but what about status statue? So there's no like catchy phrase with the split cards in GRN. They share the naming convention is that they share the first 3 letters. So status statue shares STE, A. I can't talk
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. The first 3 letters of each split card are the same. I don't name Magic cards, but like that sounds really, really hard to do.
Yeah, I heard that this was like. I heard just stories from the creative team that just naming split cards is very difficult, especially because we've done them a few times before. Where they're just kind of like out of phrases and whatnot. You actually have to dodge other card names. Like, so you can't just, whatever, you can't just name something cancel on a split card, because we already have cancel.
Right. So when mechanics are made like Surveil or Undergrowth, is it like everyone in a conference room with a whiteboard, or what does it look like? So there's like actually a lot of different things we do when we come up with mechanics. First, very early in the process, we have what's called exploratory design, where a bunch of designers meet a couple times a week, and we just talk about, like, what are the themes of the set, what's the flavor like, and then they just brainstorm a bunch of mechanics based on that. And then the next meeting they'll like build a bunch of decks using those mechanics and playtest, see what works and what doesn't, until you finally arrive on a mechanic that you like. So interesting stuff with Guilds of Ravnica is Undergrowth was pretty much the Golgari mechanic right from the start, but the Dimir mechanic was like a bunch of different things. Like it was really hard to find something satisfying that felt like a Dimir mechanic, like for flavor, and also played well. We came up with Surveil at one point, and it was like, well, it's hard to do, like, it's like just scry with Graveyard, so it's simple, but it does satisfy the does it feel like Dimir, because you're like plotting and like planning out your turns and stuff. And even though it's essentially just Graveyard scry, it did feel like different and satisfying enough, and also played well with other guilds like Golgari and Izzet.
Alright, I had to take this hit for 15 to get a Sin for the Golden Demise.
What kind of background is common in R&D that is away from a Magic background? Product design, industrial design. So in R&D, we come from so many different backgrounds. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have backgrounds in like math. We have former teachers. Play design is mostly former pro players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know like Scott Van Essen, who was like a finalist on one of the Great Designer Searches.
2 of them.
Oh, 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah, he was on Great Designer Search 1 and 2 and made top 4 both.
Yeah, he was an aerospace engineer. I know that little tidbit.
Yep. Like we've had people on the creative team who were like former like not surgeon, but that sounds like way too hard, but but like, you know, just they have these like really advanced degrees and they're just super smart.
Yeah, I know.
Rosewater has a background of writing television.
Yeah, Eric Lauer is like a math/physics professor or something. I don't know why, he's just a genius, that's all I know.
Yeah, so even though we just come from all these different backgrounds, it's just interesting that like our love of Magic brought us all together.
Yeah, and it's really cool to learn like, oh, this guy used to be an aerospace engineer, but he just wanted to make Magic more.
Yep, because like, let's be honest, no offense to people who have that job, but designing Magic cards just sounds way more fun than being an aerospace engineer.
I think we're looking good. This guy's Wizard deck.
Okay, so a question. Are there internal reviews once an expansion hits and results in a certain meta? Like, oh, that may have been a bit too token or tribal heavy, or control is too far ahead, or that kind of thing. Yeah, we actually talk about like what mistakes we've made all the time. It's a little early for Guilds of Ravnica right now, though. I think we should give it another couple weeks. Like right now, things are looking pretty good, but it's way too early to tell.
Yeah.
But Mark Rosewater writes design articles. They come out every Monday where he basically talks about stuff like that. He does a state of design article for every set that's basically just like retrospective, like what mistakes did this set have, and like how are we going to learn from them again. So if you just search Mark Rosewater state of design, you can just get his last couple, and that'll tell you a lot about what we thought our mistakes were.
This is a good question. What part of the design process surprised you the most when you started working?
I'll let you take that one, because
Okay.
I don't know right now.
So, I'm still relatively new, and this is like kind of not answering the question, but it's kind of similar. So I haven't been through like every part of the design process yet to like in full. Like I haven't really done an exploratory design. I've been on a vision design team for like a few weeks, but got pulled off to do something else. But one thing that just surprised me within the play design realm of like just balancing cards was how much like creative impacts to the game, but not like, obviously the creative is really important, but I didn't realize kind of just like how the schedules lined up. So I had this idea for a card, and I'd be like, wow, I think this card would just be really cool if it just had like flying and like did the same ability but a little different. And they're like, Donald, it's a centaur that's like bound to the ground or something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And they're like, it just doesn't fly. I'm like, oh, the art's already in or whatever. I'm like,
Did he attack with a hit 1/1 into the Doom Whisper? He really wants that raid trigger, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. He might chart a course about 3 times or something. Oh, this can't be good.
Oh, this definitely cannot be good. But hey, when you're a blue-red player, how else do you deal with a 6/6?
Yeah, I guess you just don't. Oh, I don't want that land, actually.
Generally, when we play test cards, we do it a decent amount before art comes in. But once the art is in, then we do have that restriction of you can't tweak the design too much. Like, for example, you can never give a centaur flying. So if you have this, like, red rare, like red 5/5 rare who's a ground creature, like say he's a giant or something, and it's like, oh man, red needs a flying card. Can this card just have flying? No, it can't. It's not a dragon.
Yeah.
It's a giant. It just can't have flying. Creative would be really mad at us if we if we gave it flying.
Yeah. And yeah, that like particularly happened with me because I came in late into GRN's process and everything was kind of not set in stone, but you know, a giant can't fly and a bird probably has to fly, for example.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's a chicken or something,
Yeah,
but I mean, like,
that extinct bird. And
like we do get the art, or at least sketches, so like we can kind of take a look at this card and it's like, well, this is definitely a bird soaring through the air. It has to have flying. How much creative freedom do you have? Is it difficult to have your ideas heard at times? I would say that we have tons of creative freedom. Like we can pretty much design whatever cards we want, and if it doesn't fit in the set we're working on, we can always like save it for the future. Like we all have like personal design files where we can design cards in, and then when it's time to fill a hole or something, or just we're like, oh hey, the set is short on green rares, like we can just go back and like submit our designs or something. But in general, I would say that we have a lot.
Yeah, it was like a really awesome moment when I learned about our personal design art like files that we have, because I would have these cool ideas and I was like, oh, but it just doesn't fit in this set at this time. This set needs a green mythic, it doesn't need a rare uncommon or whatever. And then Andrew just told me, he's like, oh, like, you use your design file? I'm like, what's that? And he explained it to me. I was like, oh. So now I just have a bunch of designs, and yeah, every once in a while, like, I think someone needed a green mythic the other day, and I didn't have one at the time, but I was glad to know that I could just make one for any time I want and then pull it out. Like me, I just have a bunch of red cards, actually, in my design. Alright, I think I have to do this, but I'm feeling super dead.
Well, you do have this golden demise that's good at killing things.
Yeah, I don't even want that.
Although,
Oh my god. I'm so dead.
how many games of Magic do you play on an average day?
Well, ever since Arena came out, it's been a long.
Oh yeah, sure. All right, let's say non-arena Magic, like just like not for fun Magic, but for work Magic only, right? Oh, you're so dead. Let's see. It really depends on the day. It really depends on how many meetings do we have in a day. So So for example, right now we're in this stream, so we're not doing our other work.
Yeah.
So, but when we have things like that, right? So if we're in a design meeting, that takes time away from playing. But like in a playtest session, which is usually a couple of hours, I mean, I still don't even know how many games that is. However many games can fit into like a 2-hour session, and we might do a couple 2-hour sessions a day.
Yeah. It just varies so much. Like last week I was super swamped with like other stuff and whatnot, so like I actually felt like I just didn't play that many games at all. But
Yep. Yeah. Sometimes we have those weeks.
but sometimes I have like actually too much time to play and other people don't have time. So, but then like it's also hard to separate like playing and deck building, because like we kind of, at least me, use like that time the same. Like, you know, it's just FFL time to me, so I'll either build a bunch of decks or play a bunch of games, or a mix.
How does an average day look for both of you? So on play design, we're probably about, like, most of our job is just play testing standard, but we also do draft play tests for upcoming sets and go to design meetings. So I would say an average day, get to work at 9 o'clock, probably build a deck or two, then maybe play some standard from 10 to 12. Then after lunch, maybe we'll have a meeting, and then maybe some more FFL, depending on like what else we have for the afternoon. But it's a lot of Magic playing and like reading set files and like giving feedback on cards from a balance perspective.
Yeah, a lot of drafts happening every once in a while. Like, probably did like 2 or 3 drafts last week, which contributed to me not playing as much as I wanted to.
Yeah, like also when a set gets closer to the end of its life cycle, we end up doing a lot more drafts because we're trying to balance the format for limited. So, for example, when a set is earlier in the process, we'll draft once a week, maybe once every other week. But then as we're getting closer to the end, we're doing more high-level drafts for balance. And then we're drafting like maybe even twice a week of one set.
Someone asked, what's FFL? We've been saying that a lot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that can be really awkward sometimes because not everyone knows what that means,
Yeah.
especially because we're writing less articles about it. So, so FFL stands for Future League, and essentially what that means, it's our internal playtesting league where we play Future Standard.
Someone says, are you able to answer a card balance question about a specific card? I'd say maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
It
Like,
depends on the question.
yeah, feel free to ask it.
Yeah, you could ask it. Sometimes it'll be like no, sometimes it'll be yes.
So there's a question, do we focus mainly on standard and draft, or do we also look at other formats? So we mainly play test standard and draft, but we do think about cards for all formats. We have some people in our on our team who are like modern specialists or older format specialists, and they play modern a little bit. Like, for example, if there is this one card that we think is going to have a modern shot, they might play a game or two or something and actually see if it is. But we spend most of our time on standard and limited.
So this is an arena question I could kind of answer. Did you notice how Sacred Foundry taps differently? So I believe it's not quite a bug, but like it's something the arena team is like aware of. It's because the Sacred Foundry has basic land types, so there's just the way the game is coded, I guess, is like it taps differently. But I think they are aware of it and will do like the color wheel like other dual lands. So it's we're aware of it.
Cool.
And like I specifically told them that, and they're like, "Yeah, we know. Got a fix coming or something."
Why do you guys keep making hexproof cards when they are so frustrating to deal with in limited? Okay, so yes, they are pretty frustrating to deal with in limited. I agree. And going forward, you will see less hexproof cards, especially at common. Like, so Ixalan has some hexproof at common. Looking back, I am pretty sure that was just wrong. But if you look at like recent sets that have come out, like for example, M19 has the Vine Mare. It's an uncommon, so you'll see it less. But more importantly, it's has double green in the casting cost, so a little harder to cast. You can't splash it or anything, and also low toughness. So we are going to still keep making hexproof cards because there's a group of players that actually just love hexproof cards. Like the feeling that my creature is so safe. Like some players just like they like that feeling, and also they're just strong cards, and they can be frustrating and limited. But as long as we're doing them at higher rarities and low toughness, and just also have answers for them. For example, edict effects like Eldest Reborn. Also blocking is really valuable.
Yeah.
But when you like put hexproof on a flyer, for example, like the one from Rivals of Ixalan, the 3/2 flyer for 5, right?
Yeah.
That was a common. That one was low toughness, so it is like pretty easy to block. But like Ixalan also had a lot of powerful auras, so that card was a little harder to deal with than most. All right. So, other question about hexproof: what benefits does it have over Shroud? So the big benefit that it has is that you can target your own thing. And with Shroud, a lot of players did not realize how it worked. They just assumed that you could target it. They just thought that it meant, oh, my opponent can't kill my thing, but I can still do whatever I want to it. You know, so a lot of people just played it wrong, and also a lot of people just did not find it fun. So that's why Hexproof came into existence.
Yeah, I think it's easy to go to, oh, it should have just been Shroud when you lose to Hexproof Aura, but like again, people just like playing those bottle strategies. Like that was one of my first casual decks actually. It was an Aura Gnarlid thing, and I was like, okay, well, one strategy is to go really big with the Aura Gnarlid, but if I want to play it safe, I could go on my Hexproof creature, and I mean, I think that's just a really valuable thing.
So when I was younger, one of my favorite decks was Enchantress, and the Enchantress, the Argothian Enchantress, it didn't have actually printed Shroud. It had, this creature can't be targeted by spells or abilities.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know what that meant. I just thought that it couldn't be killed. So like, if someone played Earthquake, I was like, it can't be targeted by spells or abilities. So like, yeah, it still takes damage. And I was like, no, you can't, it can't be touched. No.
It's invincible.
I mean, like, I knew that if I blocked with it, it died, but I didn't think that you could... But I also knew that Wrath of God killed it because it said destroy all, but for some reason, Earthquake, it was like, deal damage to each creature. Oh, no, you can't touch that guy. I learned the hard way.
Ooh, another question I could kind of answer. So, big fan, basically a person's a fan of the new Aurelia. Any insight to the design process? So actually, one of the first days I got here, we were like in the process of not totally redesigning, but like, oh, what should Aurelia be? And we kind of started from scratch, and I remember like, I was new at the time, so I didn't know this myself, but I was told like, okay, Boros needs like a 4-mana card, and it's Aurelia, obviously, so it's going to be a legendary flyer. That's just a given based on the creative. And so we just like had a meeting and hashed it out, like, what is Aurelia going to be? And I remember like we were laying out the Boros deck, and like there's these cards, this card, and we wanted, it was like clearly going to compete with something like Rekindling Phoenix, so we didn't want it to just have like another death trigger or be super resilient, so we went for the other direction, but we made sure it had like impact when it entered the board, because that's just kind of the standard for like 4 drops and higher these days is, oh, it has to have immediate impact. And but we also didn't want it to be like another, oh, ETB draw a card or die draw a card, because we just had a lot of that going around. So we kind of arrived on the Battle Rattle Shaman thing, and I felt that was a really cool direction. So like impacts the board, but not in terms of card advantage, but just in terms of like stats and combat, which is really what Boros is about. So I really like how Aurelia ended up there. And then like instead of dying into an egg like Rekindling Phoenix, we gave it a 5th toughness to like just dodge lava coils and stuff that would normally be good against Rekindling Phoenix.
To just naturally counter Rekindling Phoenix because of the toughness.
Yeah.
It also works really well with Mentor. It has Mentor, but you
Yeah.
can also mentor your other stuff to make them bigger, to get more counters.
Yeah, it was interesting. We put the ability on just because it's like, oh, how do we make it enter the battlefield but not like more or less draw a card or something equivalent? And we realized like, so we just did that thing, like give it like small haste, and then like playing with it. That's when we found out like, oh wow, I could like all the different decisions, which I love when that happens with a card, when you like learn that it plays well like after you design it. So I thought that was really cool when like I was learning like just every game I would like choose a different thing to put the buff on, whether it's herself or a Tajik, and then just mentor differently. Like sometimes I wanted to beat their Aurelia, so I put it on Tajik to make Aurelia into a 3/6, and then my Aurelia trumps theirs on subsequent turns.
Okay, interesting question about Knight of Malice and Knight of Grace. Is the Hexproof from White-Black more of a flavor ability, or were the cards intended as sideboard cards against their respective colors? So these cards were a callback to White Knight and Black Knight. So one thing about Dominaria is there are a lot of callbacks, and this is one of them. And with protection not being evergreen, we can't just throw protection whatever we want. So we like weren't going to just reprint White and Black Knight. But this is just like a way to make the callback to White and Black Knight and just try something new. So I guess to answer your question, yes, flavor because of the callback, and yes, it's, you know, obviously the white one is good against black and vice versa, so it is an interesting sideboard choice, and also they just work well with each other too, because if you play them in the same deck, they just pump each other.
Yeah, I think it's one of those sweet situations with a card when the answer is just both. It's like, this is relevant for Constructed, and it's a flavor home run. This is kind of a rulesy question about Mastermind's acquisition right there. But
Okay, let's see. About Mastermind's acquisition, was there a specific reason it doesn't retrieve cards from exile, since they technically still count as outside of game? So they don't technically count as outside of game. In the past, before the exile zone was named, yes, that did count as outside of game. So, for example, the original Wish cycle from Judgment, it could get cards from exile, but there has been a rules update where they can no longer do that, because exile is its own zone called exile, and it just does not count as outside of game. And there is not a specific reason why it doesn't retrieve cards from exile. So this fetching from your sideboard is something that we hadn't done in a long time, actually. Like, we did it with Glittering Wish. I can't think of a time we did it beyond that. So, since it's a unique effect that we just hadn't had in a long time, and it's like a tutor effect that just gives you like just an interesting new way to deck build, we didn't want to put or exile on there. Also, the card is already wordy enough. Like, you can get any card from your deck, any card from your sideboard. So just adding exile on there is just not necessary, in my opinion.
yeah, I think it's also just like a rule we really want to, not a rule, a guideline where we just don't want to interact with exile if we can avoid it. So with BFZ, with the Eldrazi, that was like their gimmick, but that was appropriate there for flavor reasons, and it's like, oh, what makes an Eldrazi different? Oh, they could do stuff with your exile, but I don't think we just want to make a black rare in a set be able to start interacting with exile, because I think the point of exile is that it's gone forever. And yeah, I'd say, like, in my personal opinion, and it is just an opinion, is like that card isn't worth like breaking that mold.
At what point are you looking at a card and decide, you know, this would be a great vanilla creature?
Where is this?
So we don't just look at a card and say, you know what, this guy would just be amazing as vanilla. That's just not really like how we do things. But we do have targets in the set for like how many vanilla should we have, because limited, like, so two things. One, for limited can be very hard to play with, especially when you're new. So just having just a vanilla creature on the board is just one less of a thing you have to process, right? So if you just consider everything that you have to process when you read Magic cards, like some Magic cards are virtual vanillas. They have an enters the battlefield ability but once they're in play, they're just vanillas. They just have no other abilities. So if you just like, you have to read, when you're processing a board and you're reading all of these cards, sometimes it can just be nice to just have a vanilla that you just don't have to read every time you're evaluating like combat and like, you know, what guy do I want to kill and that kind of thing. So that's the limited reason. The next reason is just, again, like new players, it's just nice to have just very low complexity creatures running around. So that's the reason why we put vanillas in sets, but we don't just be like, hey, you know what? That's the guy. He should be vanilla, you know?
Yeah, I feel this is like kind of roundabout, like complexity question, and like I always just go back to the story. When I was a pro player, I did a flashback draft of Lorwyn, and I'm pretty sure every creature in that set had some activated ability, and some of them untapped. And I was a pro player on the Pro Tour, did the flashback draft, played 3 rounds, and I got a headache. I got a splitting migraine because the board was that complex.
Yeah, Lorwyn was a really tough one, and like, if you just look at sets before Lorwyn, leading up to Lorwyn, and then going into Time Spiral, you can just see the complexity creep just get more and more and more complex with like activated abilities and triggers and all this stuff. And then it wasn't until it was either Shards of Alara or like M10 where we just like R&D came up with New World Order and just like rules for common cards to just tone down the complexity.
Yeah, and I like to think that when, you know, being on the Pro Tour and doing as well as I did, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can handle this, right? And it was just like, no, got a migraine, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right, I need more vanillas.
So
like I want to set with all vanillas.
Can you imagine drafting like Lorwyn Morningtide at the Pro Tour?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, so I was in this Pro Tour. So like years ago, they had Pro Tours that were only draft before they were split format. And one of the ones that I went to, actually one of my favorite Pro Tours, was an all draft Pro Tour, and it was Kuala Lumpur 2008, and it was Lorwyn Morningtide, and it was super fun.
Seems
but like,
hard.
Like, I was also just not complexity sensitive at the time because, you know, I was a pro player and, like, I had been playing Magic for a number of years. But, like, for new players coming in, I mean, you can opt out of some complexity, but you can't really opt out of complexity in, like, Lorwyn Limited when, like, every creature affects the board in some way. You're getting smoked.
Yeah, these Reclamation Sages.
You need a Wrath of God.
I don't have
these main deck Reclamation Sages, they're not going so well.
This guy came prepared. He knows people are playing Experimental Frenzy. He knows what's up.
Wisconsin crab needs flying.
I think that's just like 3 layers of memes right there.
Is there a card from the new set that you hope gets a deck built around? Like, we all have our favorites, you know, like, and also, as part of play design, we play pretty much every card that has a reasonable constructed shot. Like, we're probably not going to play, you know, 5 mana, 3/4 vanilla or something, but you know, a card that could reasonably be played even in a casual constructed deck, we're going to play. So we all have our favorites. Like, my favorite is Crackling Drake, and people have already built decks around that, so that made me happy. That was great.
I'm trying to think of mine. Oh, I'm really glad Molder Hulk got play. I remember it was Adam Prozac just randomly one day, he's like, I think Molder Hulk's good. And then he just built this all-in Necrobloom deck with basically every enabler you could think of. And then it just was good, and like the Memorial to Folly loops. And like, I remember it took so long to like find that deck in FFL, and you know, we played it, and we felt it wasn't gonna break anything. Like, we played it and we're like, okay, this deck's strong. What are the counterplay options? Examined the format, realized there were a lot. Like, Remorseful Cleric just completely opposes that deck, for example. And I'm glad people have caught on to that deck. like my friend played it, is playing it on Arena, a friend back from Louisiana. And I was talking to him. He's like, one day, like Saturday, he builds the deck. Donald, this deck is, he's like a diehard Golgari player just for life. And he's like, Donald, this is the deck made for me. This is amazing. This is all I ever wanted to do in Magic. And then I was like, great, I'm glad you're loving the set. And then the next day, just Sunday, he's like, I just can't beat Remorseful Cleric. And I'm like, working as intended.
Is the card design made before art, like Assassin's Trophy? Or was that the art first or design first? So all cards are made before the art. Yeah, that's the short answer. The short answer is all cards are made before the art. So like there's, basically there is a set that is made, like it still has a ton of like iteration to do, but there is a set, and then cards will get assigned art, like they'll get like an art description and stuff. And then once it's assigned an art concept and like an art, then like we can't change a ton with them, but like basically we do design the cards first, because if the art came in first, it would be like a lot harder for us.
Yeah, it's the short answer. Yeah, as you said, card design before art. Not all cards are perfect. Sometimes you have to redesign a card, and then that's when you have to really like work around it. And you know, sometimes we get like an easy one. It's like, this is just a creature that looks awesome, so it's like, okay, well we could scrap that ability and just make another awesome creature. Sometimes it's very specific. This is a blue mage countering a spell, and we're like, oh god, we just actually don't want to counter spell right now. And it's kind of like that GDS challenge where they got like the slush art pieces or whatever, and they had to design for the thing. So like sometimes it's like that, but in general that's like it's in a perfect world it's never like that. But there are a few cases where you have to like redesign around an art piece if a previous design didn't work.
And also like some art is super flexible, like you were saying, what if there's this really awesome creature that's pretty generic? You know, like Planeswalkers are the same way, really. Like, so for example, Chandra is a red Planeswalker. The art looks like Chandra. She can really do anything like that's red at least, you know, within color pie, of course. But like,
that was a good draw.
That was a really good draw.
The guy baited me too. I had the Dauntless Bodyguard protecting my other one, but then he Shiv and fired into Cleansing Nova.
Oh, nice.
But I figured since he had this, I'm like, I could commit my Shana. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. No, he got me good. What's your favorite Magic card? Or favorite Magic cards if you have more than one?
I have a lot of favorite Magic cards. So my go-to answer is Argothian Enchantress, which I just talked about, because that was from one of the first decks that I built, and I played it competitively in many formats, including Standard, Extended. I don't think it was ever in Modern. That was because all the cards were rotated out of Modern by then, and Legacy and Commander. But I have favorite cards of like sets I worked on and just like more recent stuff. But yeah, Argothian Enchantress is pretty much my go-to.
Yeah, my go-to answer is Chain to the Rocks. So I started in Theros, and just through playing, just learning the game, I ended up like liking the Boros colors, and it was really cool opening the card and being like, oh, it's like actually a Boros card even though it's mono white. So that was like kind of made me feel smart even though it's extremely obvious. And then but like it just taught me a lot about like tempo and how important that is. And yeah, it's just like such an efficient spell, but it didn't see like so much play in Standard, so then it made me appreciate like, oh, this is clearly a strong card, but it requires like you to play a bunch of mountains in your deck, and like you can't even be a normal Boros deck. You actually have to be like specifically, I have multiple mountains. Like I think the magic number was like 12 mountains you wanted in your deck. And yeah, so it just taught me a lot because you know, I'm super spiky, and it's basically like a super spiky card that just has like on top of that good flavor and like cool implications. I think that card is just one of the quote-unquote perfect Magic cards, just because it kind of does a little bit of everything. Good. It's a good flavor. It's basically a straight one-on-one a Greek myth, in addition to everything. So on one hand, I feel like I should destroy this runaway Steamkin, but on the other hand, I kind of just want to play a million History of Anomalies. I think I could afford a million History of Anomalies.
They're really hard to beat, especially from red players.
Yeah.
Like, it's very unlikely that this player has the deal 2 damage to all non-pirates.
Yeah. If he does, he better cast another spell before it.
So more thoughts about the art as I'm reading the comments that I'm seeing. So Assassin's Trophy is a story card.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's this story of Vraska, I don't know, killing stuff, right? That's probably the story. So now we have to make a card based on this story. Well, it's like, yeah, it kind of works like that, but it also kind of doesn't. Sometimes the creative team is like, okay, we have this story card, Vraska killing a thing. Let's look through the set and see if there's any appropriate matches for the story card. And like sometimes you do find that match, like with Assassin's Trophy. So Assassin's Trophy, like, it wasn't always, oh, this card is the Vraska story card. Like, that was kind of after. And yeah, the comment about the art coming first. Yeah, we don't just get art and we're like, oh, we have this art, time to make a card around it. No, like, art is only assigned once the card is known. So for example, if we have a set, like about the spider, if we have a card in the set, a green card that has reach, we'll probably just name it something spider because spiders have reach. And then the creative team will flavor it. When they write the art description, they'll flavor it as a spider.
Yeah. I love the, like, just the set leads, you know, they're not in the creative team, so I love how each set lead has like their own like goofy name. So like, I know Sam Stoddard has like really funny names where like if it's just a giant spider with a 5th toughness, it would be like Gianter Spider or something. Like that's what Mammoth Spider probably was in the file.
Yeah, I think it might have been actually.
Okay, yeah, that's just a guess.
And like Eric Lauer always names them after like Metallica songs.
Really? Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, like, yeah, so on all sets he leads, he always uses the same couple of names for his cards. Like the card that's the 3-mana 4/4, the Troll.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure that card in playtesting was called Creeping Death.
Oh my god, that is just such an Eric Lauer thing. It's an Eric Lauer thing because you wouldn't think of it as an Eric Lauer thing. It's just like, oh, of course it's all Metallica songs. So in that same vein, what do you call a card before it gets its official name? I mean, we'll just call it whatever goofy name is assigned it, really. So, yeah, like, sometimes we get, like, nicknames for it, too. Like, the Deafening Clarion is Bornado, right?
Bronado.
Yeah, Bronado.
Bronado.
And sometimes they'll just have, like, a reasonable name that it just sticks. So, it all depends. It depends how like, funny the name could be, I guess.
And some names just keep their names throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
I'm
Can
sure
you think of any?
if I think hard enough, I can come up with something.
Yeah. Yeah, I came in late of GRN, so like I don't really know what a lot of their original names were. But I'm sure when the next set gets out, I'll be like, oh wow, that's still called that. That's really cool.
Like Dominaria was really interesting because of all the legends. And like some of the legends just changed the name, so it was like, it would be, you know, proper name, comma, whatever it is for a legendary, and then like we would be calling it that throughout all of playtesting, and then the creative would be like, this character is actually this person from Magic's past, you know, like, what is it, Naru Meha or something, for example.
Yeah.
Like, Naru Meha was called something wildly different during playtesting, and then one day it just got name changed to that because that was the character that the creative team thought this card represented. So, like, that was pretty crazy to be like, oh, this card that used to be called, you know,
I don't know, Jenna or something. No. Because like the designers don't know what the characters are really.
Yeah.
They're just like, we'll just give them a name. It's probably legendary.
Yeah, some do, some don't, and like especially Dominaria, I imagine, because it's like such a nostalgic set. Like that has some like, oh, did you read the books back in the day type of stuff, and
Yeah, that has some crazy stuff in it that like I didn't know existed, but it all existed.
Yeah.
Like these are all real characters.
yeah, like we all know who like Ralzerg and the Planeswalkers and all are gonna be, but yeah, like Narumeha.
Like I
Beats
didn't know
me.
Gerard had a brother named Wrath.
Yeah. And some set leads like Ethan, for example, he knows all that stuff too, so it just depends on the person.
Oh, what was Assassin's Trophy before it got its name? It was called Guildmaster's Demise. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I like that name too.
Yeah, I think it's I think the story is Vraska assassinating the leader of the Azorius Guild, Asperia or whatever, the Sphinx.
Oh yeah, sure, yep.
Yeah, and then that lets Dovin Bond take control or something. Ooh.
Banefire, that can't be countered.
Oh, he was like, wow, he was one mana short of just destroying me. That's crazy.
Should he have not just like waited and see if he drew a land or something?
He would have died.
Okay. Oh, I think I just had a spoiler.
Oh, whoops. That's
Oh.
probably me.
Okay. I messed up. I'm sorry.
Oh. Beats.
Now I have to be very careful of what I say and just say no more stuff.
Alright. Ooh, yeah, that's a good thing. We need to get that Twitch plugin. I mean, we're not able to do that right now, but yeah, we need to get that Twitch plugin. Did you see that before?
Yeah,
Where you could hover over the cards.
I have seen it, but I don't know how to plug it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't think we could do it midstream either. Oh, we did miss Lupo.
I'm only reading the chat, so I'm
Yeah.
actually not paying attention to what's happening in the game at all. So
I was just so far ahead that I just
Yeah.
kept attacking every turn.
yeah, like I have a really hard time playing Magic optimally while also reading chat and saying words. Like, so I was streaming last week and I was playing. I missed lethal like so many times, playing so badly.
Do you guys have a favorite guild flavor or mechanic? Like the flavor of the guild or the mechanic. Okay, that's... So, I think my favorite guild is like Boros mechanically, but I'm not necessarily like a gung-ho enforcer of everything or whatever. Like they're kind of like... They're just military. I'm not like a military guy, I guess.
Isn't Boros that too though? Like are they military-ish?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like the mechanics, but like I'm not like I don't resonate with the flavor so much. So I'm trying to think what guild I like the most flavorfully. There's Golgari. I kind of want to say Gruul, but like I also don't just destroy buildings. No, one of my friends in the chat says I'm a Selesnya. I don't think so either.
I don't think
I'm probably a Selesnya person. IRL.
I'm not sure I resonate with any of. I'm sure I resonate with some of them, like
Yeah.
for flavor. Maybe. I'm not totally sure,
Yeah.
but like for mechanics, I like Simic mechanics, and I like Orzhov mechanics. Yes, those are opposites, but I just like the way both of them play.
Yeah, one interesting thing about like, oh, what color do you most identify with or whatever is like, well, I think everyone has like a little of every color in them, I suppose. Like, it's hard to imagine someone who's mono red. Like, I don't think, I mean, I'm sure there are some.
Yeah, like
but,
super impulsive people,
yeah.
right?
but that's just not common, you know? It's, yeah, I think. And I think the guilds are the same way. Like, the guilds are very focused and niche and stuff. So it's like, it's hard to be one guild. We need a land. We need like 2 basic forest stuff.
Well, like, so you have Conclave
Oh,
Cavalier in this deck and Mountain.
Yeah.
So
It's a one of mountain,
So I
right?
feel like you asked for this.
It's a one of. My opponent's
but
flooding
maybe
out.
there shouldn't be a mountain, right?
Yeah, maybe not. I'll trade.
Is this still a constructed event, or is this the free play, or what?
This is a constructed event. We're actually 6-1 right now. We're doing really well.
Wow.
Maybe 6-2.
Wow,
I
I look away for a minute and
Yeah.
we're 6-1.
I went like 2-3 and now I'm just 6-1. It's awesome.
Yeah, apparently that Grixis deck, like, how did that come in second at the PTQ? It did not look very good. But also the constructed event, no sideboards, right? Is that right? Are you sideboarding?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. This is
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
like-
ones.
Yeah, at Magic Online PTQ, sideboards goes a long way for control decks. Control decks, like, sideboards are really important.
Yeah.
It's pretty common to just lose game 1 of every deck, like when you're playing control, and then just do so well game 2 and 3 because you actually just know what you're playing against, you know what to do.
I think I'm just gonna gain 4 life because I just need to get my 5th land after I'm good.
Maybe, but these Merfolk can get so big.
Oh.
Yeah, this Merfolk deck can be brutal. It plays Tempest Caller and Sleep.
Yeah. Oh, it plays sleep too.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, I gotta watch out for that. I'm just gonna gain 4 more life.
Gain 4 life and block everything.
Yep. Just need to get the dinos out.
I didn't expect Charging Monster Soar to be a strong constructed card.
I mean, Reality Smasher was.
Yeah, but that was different. That like was harder to kill.
Yeah.
But that's fair.
True. Yeah, as I was building this deck, this is like kind of my own brew, and I just want it to be like a super fast curve out deck with knights. I specifically want to play Knight of Autumn the most, and then of course the best pairing with that is History of Benalia. And I just like looked at my 4 and 5 drop options, and they were okay, like Tristani and stuff, but they just weren't beating down. It's like the Selesnya cards are the Selesnya stuff, you know, they go wide, they can poke. But I just wanted to attack every turn, and that's when I went to red, especially because we have Sacred Foundry and Temple Garden, so the Naya colors are really good. And so yeah, I was just like, well, what thing do I want to play on turn 5? I was just looking, I'm like, yeah, I think I just want a 5/5 Haste Trampler.
Yeah, like you don't have Glorybringer anymore as
Yeah.
your 5-mana haster. So the Knight of Grace and Knight of Malice thing, they're called that because they're like callbacks to like old Dominaria names. Like there was Absolute Law, Absolute Grace, Knight. No, not Knight. Disciple of Grace, Disciple of Law, and then the green one was, and then like all the voices, Voice of Law. There was Voice of Duty, which is the protection from green, and the Voice of Reason was protection from blue.
So those are just callbacks. But yeah, Night of Summer and Winter and stuff would be pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, so I definitely got the wrong land. Okay, I'm back.
You got the wrong land.
Yeah, I needed to get a basic forest, but I got a basic plains instead. Because like, I was probably
no.
talking, and the deck like
Yeah.
mostly gets a basic plains.
Okay.
I think I was dead either way, but I also like attacked pretty poorly with my Charger Monster Sword.
Crossbow Steve.
Was it a Vivian avatar?
Yes.
Nice. But it's a bow, not a crossbow. Yeah, there are some funny names on Arena.
Way earlier in the comments, someone asked if they could see a screenshot of your deck, so maybe
Oh yeah, after this
maybe
I'll,
like way later you can just leave it up there for like 30 seconds and people can just do a screenshot.
we're dino flooded already.
You need land. You need
Yeah.
Flower Flourish.
Yeah, I have like 22 lands, 3 flower flourish, so I have quite a bit of mana sources for an aggro deck.
Just don't draw Forest. That would be the worst
Yeah,
possible draw.
Forest, Mountain would be pretty bad too. I think Mountain might
Well,
actually
like
be worse.
with Mountain, you could at least cast Justice Strike, but
Oh, true. Okay, yeah, Forest.
it's just like so I have this Justice Strike Conclave guy deck.
Alright, so I think I found it out. I think I want to draw a dual land.
That sounds great.
Ooh, perfect.
Okay. That was exactly the land you wanted.
It's probably going to get syncopated. Oh, whatever. So yeah, people interested in this list, I actually think it's like pretty reasonable. I'll pull it up after this game. This is the last game of the league. There are a few tweaks. So there's 3 Amara in the list currently, I think, and 1 Shauna. I think I want to go to 4 Thorn Lieutenants and 1 Amara, because the deck doesn't have any activated abilities, so it floods out somewhat easily. So I think I want just 4x Thorn Lieutenant to be able to dump my mana into late game.
And also, both of the cards you said are not very good when your deck plays Mountain.
Yeah. Oh, another Nombo in the deck is Amara and Aurelia. Don't really work well together because Amara gets Vigilance.
No. Look at that perfect draw. Get any land you want. Get that forest.
Hey, look, we could cast Conclave Cavalier perfectly right now. Crossbow Steve was originally in the foreground of a 9/9 Kraken token that Kiora made.
Okay.
Well, this guy followed up the comment as a human for scale. So I actually don't think he's joking.
Huh.
I'm not sure. Wait, this is... I need some confirmation on this, because it's like almost too ridiculous to be fake.
Yeah.
Could someone in chat confirm that? Oh wait, someone else. Isn't that the guy from the white removal card? Okay. There's an actual Crossbow Steve that I'm not aware of. Oh, it's like a Reddit. Oh, okay. So it was just probably a person in the art, and Reddit named it.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, and is it in the Emrakul art? So it's probably just every person with a crossbow and monster art. Did you know that?
No. Yeah, like not super good with the flavor in Magic. Like I don't really know the story as well as I probably should. I'll look at that. How do you beat a 5/5 haste trample when you're playing a blue-red deck?
They should have stayed in the boat. Oh my god, that's actually such good flavor text. need to start using that joke more every time I charge a Monster Sword.
I don't think you can post links. I think it auto blocks links.
Alright, sweet. So, okay. It's so hard.
You win a card, let's see.
Alright. Oh, that's actually that's not the worst card. Alright, and now what we get?
A book devourer. I have so many book devourers. Look at it. He eats books.
Yeah, okay, let
Can
me...
you believe that there's a card in Magic that eats books?
Alright, so this is the deck, y'all. Let's see. It's gonna be hard to get the mana base, but ooh, maybe I could type the mana base in the chat. Oh, no, I can't. I'd have to alt-tab, and then that might close Arena.
Oh, yeah, no, actually, this chat is on a different computer with a
Oh.
keyboard over here.
Oh, do you want to type in the mana base real
Oh, I
quick?
probably can, yeah. I'll be over here for a second.
Alright. 3 plains, 2 forests, 1 mountain.
I have typos, but don't mind me.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. 2 rootbound crag, 4 clifftop retreat, 2 sun petal grove, then 4 temple garden, 4 sacred foundry. So that's the mana base we just posted in chat. I'm gonna leave this up for a few seconds so you can get your screenshots of the base deck. I'm thinking about cutting Shauna and 2 Amaras for 3 Thorn Lieutenants, but otherwise the deck has been pretty fun and pretty good. I actually think it just like destroys mono red, which is pretty nice.
And definitely has game against control, too.
Yeah. And the sideboard, I kind of just made it a mishmash of whatever. I think Adonto Vanguard's really good against the blue-red decks. They have like basically no outs aside from counterspells. I like this card for more Lyra answers, especially since Justice Strike gains them so much life. And then just I don't really have a strong attachment to the rest of these cards. They're just like cards in my collection that I thought were cool. Like, of course, Lyra and Cornerstone are going to be good against like aggro and control. Alright, so let's play that black-green deck.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so I got to go in 40 minutes. So.
Okay, I can always continue, and then when you go, like, I have a deck on my account that I may play also.
So we're going to be playing the black-green deck that got first, that won the Magic Online PTQ this weekend. It's going to be 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. It's going to be 6 cards different. So his top end is like 3 Vraska Relic Seekers, 1 Vivian Reed, and he has 2 more Vraska Golgari Queens. I just built this deck on Arena, so I don't have those Planeswalkers, so I just like kind of filled them in with like cards that are similar to Planeswalkers. Like Underrealm Lich is one of those. It's not a Planeswalker, but if it stays in play for multiple turns and is somewhat resilient to removal, then it acts like a Planeswalker. I added this one of Memorial Folly, actually, and I think it's burning me.
Whoa, the Immortal Sun.
Oh yeah, that's my other like fake Planeswalkers.
Okay.
Especially because I only have 1 Planeswalker, I figured, okay, well this downside's not going to hurt me and it might hurt my opponent. Ooh, that land
Nice timing there.
Nope.
Maybe you'll draw land. Maybe you'll draw forest. Nope. Well, PTQ winning deck, you're not doing so good.
No. I think we got time though. This guy's start isn't too fast. Although incoming Nullhide Ferox, I suppose.
How does one become both a zombie and an elf shaman?
Well,
Like-
I think you start as an elf shaman. I think step 1 is elf shaman.
But now he's just hanging out as a zombie.
Yeah.
So zombies to me are just like mindless. They can't really do a whole lot. They're walking around slow. But this one, he like makes your draws so good, and he can also just regenerate. Well, I guess zombies just do that, but
Oh wow, that prey.
but that's a really smart zombie.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. That prey palm was gonna destroy me, but through this.
These planeswalkers do look pretty sweet on Arena.
Yeah. They have like voice acting too, which is kind of nice.
Yep. Oh no.
Oh no. All right, now plan B for
The
planeswalkers.
Yep.
wilds are my shield.
Oh God.
Look at that teddy bear.
My first sealed, I had this in my pool, the Nullhide Ferox, and I got burglar ratted. I was playing with my friends,
Oh no.
and we were just tanking on what to discard. And we're like, okay, discard the 5-drop. And
Oh my God.
we just
So you
discarded
you
some
didn't
5-drop.
realize that it had that ability.
And then we just get stuck on 3 lands, and like it was like turn 7, we're stuck on 3 lands, and we're like, oh, we could have had this out on turn 2,
Oh man.
and that is why I'm not a pro player anymore. Alright.
This is a rough one.
Okay, so this should be able to dig us into a land, and then with that land we could break the hexproof and chupacabra it, and then we'll have to find something else for that.
This hexproof symbol here is like, it's very like wizardy, but this is just a big dumb green idiot.
Oh wow, he's doing that?
Hmm.
Okay. I was expecting him to play the other one.
Yeah, me too. Like, what can you have here? It's not like black has sweepers besides Ritual of Soot.
Or yeah. Or yeah.
Oh
this-
yeah, I guess there's that one, but
it doesn't quite
but
get the
yeah,
6/6.
exactly. Yeah, it's like still pretty hard to kill.
I actually might cast this back half because it destroys these 2 and it makes this block that.
Yeah, that actually seems pretty good. And then you have an answer for his future Nullhide Ferox.
Take action. Yes. Oh,
Nice.
that's that. Why not force the pump? Strategic question. I figured I wanted to save more life, and I just assumed he would play out more creatures because he has so many cards in hand. It's just simple as that.
Yeah, I guess you would take 10 if you force him to pump. But this time you took... No, you still took 10.
Oh, wait,
Right.
was it strictly better to force the pump then?
I think it might have been.
Oh, rip.
Because you can either... If he chooses to pump, you take 10 because of the 6/6 and your 4 life. And if he chooses not to pump, you just eat his guy and take 6. So yeah, I guess it was just better.
I think we're looking pretty good. So, even though this Underrealm Lich wasn't in the PTQ winning list, it's one of the few cards that like actually got me out of this situation. If it would have just been a Vivian or any other Planeswalker, I wouldn't have been able to deal with these Nullhide Feroxes. Oh.
Oh no. That's okay, like, you can kill that thing eventually. He'll probably sacrifice a 3/4.
Or he
Or-
might want
or
to destroy
he'll-
it. So it's kind of baiting him for the Immortal Sun to be good.
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he'll kill his 5/4 and sacrifice the
Yeah.
Brontodon to kill the Eldritch Reborn.
And then the Immortal Sun comes in, just like we drew it up.
Nope, he decided to not have a Brontodon.
Not worth.
Yeah, I'm not surprised he did that. Yep.
Because my Chupacabra can't block otherwise. Hit away.
This is a beating.
I'll do it, most likely.
And next turn you get a giant.
Yep.
What kind of giants do you have?
What kind of giants does he have? Is
Well,
really
he has
the
plenty of
question.
giants.
Oh.
Oh, no giants.
Alright, I need to go use the bathroom. Could you finish this game?
Yes, absolutely.
Drinking too much water.
Okay. Alright, chat. I'm gonna play this game. Oh, we should block. No. Hold on. Go to blocks. Block this. Not pay the life. I think I'm done. Now he has to kill the saga, otherwise I get a giant monster. Alright, let's see what this Golgari Findbroker wants, if anything. It might not want anything. I think it's just better to play this for now. And my stuff is cheaper. But this guy isn't cheaper. Ah! He drew 3 Brontodons in a row! So he's killing this thing instead of the Immortal Sun. Which is okay. I'll take the extra cards. Okay, so what does this Golgari Findbroker actually want? I can cast it and get a 4-drop. But I don't really have any... I mean, I could take an Underrealm Lich for next turn, I guess. Or I can just get some pressure out there. Regardless, I will cast it. I think... So I can get a 5-drop and play it later, or I can get something to play right now. Considering he has no stuff, I don't want to get Eldritch Reborn, because I already can take care of, like, his creatures fine, because I have 2 Chupacabras. He can't use Planeswalkers, so I think I just want to get something to play right now, so I'll just get this Merfolk. And just play it right now. Oh, I didn't realize that I could have gotten a 5-drop and played it immediately, because I forgot that the Immortal Sun makes it so your spells cost less.
Are we still playing this game?
But yes, I was explaining my thought process to the chat, and it took actually forever. But to make a long story short, I played some stuff, and then he conceded. So that means I made the right play.
That's kind of a beating.
So the Immortal Sun actually does 17 things. See, I only thought it did 12 things, but it actually did 17 things.
I must have miscounted too, because I only thought it did 16 things.
It's like, my spells are cheaper, and they can't play Planeswalkers, and you draw extra cards.
And it's an Anthem.
Oh, and that, oh my god, okay.
Obviously. Of course, the personal Howling Mind cost reducer Planeswalker Destroyer gives your creatures +1/+1.
Well, all that for a 6-mana artifact.
Yeah. I think with the Braid being gone, the card isn't that bad.
Yeah, so there's Assassin's Trophy as main deck way to kill it. There's the Brontodon, which, like, it is seeing a lot of main deck play. Knight of Autumn.
Yeah. Okay, I guess there are quite a bit of answers, but man, when it's good, it's good.
So when designing Creeping Chill, did you think about modern implications? Yes.
Yeah.
We did expect it to see play in Modern Dredge, but also it also just gives you, there's a cost to putting it in your deck. You have less creatures to dredge.
Yeah.
And like, you have to make a sacrifice somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, it's kind of like, not really a cycle, but kind of, it's just the same thing as Narcomoeba, and Narcomoeba is a clear modern card, so yeah, We definitely didn't just write it off.
Yeah, like there's no other cards that have that text in Magic, right? That the Narcomoeba text and the Creeping Chill.
Mhm.
Like those are the only two in existence. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it is pretty obvious that it goes in Dread decks.
Oh. Okay,
Oh.
5 or more.
Oh, you almost got. Oh, he almost had an angel.
No,
Okay,
it's fine.
everything is fine.
If you had like a Legion's Landing, I would have been wrecked. I think I could trophy him, but yeah, I think I should trophy him. Trophy and cast down the Respondent.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need a 6th land. But on the other hand, now he can activate the angel, right? Because he's getting his 6th land.
I got cast down.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
great. Perfect.
Um,
And make him tap out too.
yeah.
Oh, he got a mountain though.
Oh, yikes.
This I did not expect, actually.
Whoops.
Oh.
Alright, I see where.
Now
where
I get it.
It all
All
went
right.
wrong.
Well, everything is still fine. There's still. Well, look at this. Look at this animation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I love the Arclight Phoenix one. It just flies across the screen.
Okay.
Dreadnought. Yeah, the overlay is a good call out. Someone mentioned it before. I'm actually gonna like really. I love the overlay, and I'm gonna try to get it on here too. Okay.
Everything is covered. You have more answers in your hand than he has cards in hand.
Oh yeah, he's only at 2 cards. Okay. Okay, I feel good about this game. Fell right into the trap, and I get to bring it back. So do this, and then next turn we probably play Phantom. I like I'm also playing more copies of Eldest Reborn instead of the Planeswalkers from the PTQ winning list. And again, for people who just tuning in or whatever, this is very close to the PTQ winning deck list on Magic Online, but I have less Planeswalkers. So yeah, I think the Immortal Sun, the Eldest Reborn is like, it's kind of like a Planeswalker in a sense. You know, you need to like set up the board to get good value out of it, and then it just gives you a bunch of advantage over a few turns.
It's like a planeswalker that dies
Yeah.
and is very hard to interact with.
Yeah. I wouldn't say dies. I'd call it an ultimate. I think that I'd qualify that as an ultimate.
All right, that's fair.
It could be a little bit more optimistic. It's a strictly worse Planeswalker.
Look at all this value.
Yeah.
Black green is all about value.
Okay, someone's asking for deck list. Yeah, I'll pop up the deck list on the screen real quick. Just get your screenshots ready. Arcane Encyclopedia.
That's not what you wanted. How's Big Dumb Boros?
It ain't great. I actually think the deck list is kind of cool, but alright, here's the deck list if y'all want to take screenshots. You could find the real quote-unquote deck list on the Magic Online PTQ. It's the first place deck. So yeah, Big Dumb Boros is the name I'd name my Boros deck. It's okay, but since a lot of people are playing mono red, then a lot of people are hating out on mono red, and it's just kind of getting also hated out by mono red too. And so I just have to rebuild the deck. Like, I need more value-oriented cards like History of Benalia. Instead, the deck I had was just like very straightforward, rush down. Oh yeah, only one Jade Light. Instead of 4x Jade Light, I went with Thrashing Brontodon just for more. I just want it to be a little bit better against red, just because of the 4th toughness, and it hitting Experimental Frenzy was pretty important. And I've actually haven't really missed Jade Light and really loving the Brontodon. Someone noticed I have the 2 different editions of Llanowar Elves. I have 2 M19 ones and 2 Dominaria ones.
Yeah, I was looking at Donald's deck list and I'm seeing cards like 1 Opt, 3 Opt,
Yeah.
2 Lightning Strike.
2 lightning strike, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, when I was a pro player, I would just like intentionally do all this stuff just to troll people. Like, I would go out of my way to mismatch my decks. Don't ask why. It's just how I roll, I guess.
And that's really interesting because, like, years ago, it was always just like, if you want to be good at Magic,
Yeah.
if you want to, like, have an edge, you always have to play all the same basic land arts, all the same version of every card. Like, I remember, like, I was like, oh, I have this sweet Beta Llanowar Elves, and I have this sweet 4 and Black Border one, and my other 2 are from 7th edition. And people were like, why are you doing that? What if they, duress you and they see your Llanowar Elves and you play the wrong one that you just drew or something? And I was like, oh, I should have thought of that.
Yeah. Well, see,
But
what
John
I
was
do
like,
is
I don't care.
Yeah, I just don't play the wrong one. Because I understand the arguments like, oh, well, you don't have to think about not playing the wrong one, yada yada. And it's like, when I get thought seized or duressed or my hand gets looked at, I put the cards that they know about upside down and I draw face up. So I always have, like, it's a habit for me to distinguish what information they know about in paper. Of course, in Arena, you don't even have to worry. They just show you any revealed information.
Yeah, but one interesting thing about that is, like, the opponent doesn't know which one is revealed. So I remember, like, they were showing me, say, for example, a Llanowar Elves that I used with, like, a Thought Erasure or something, that I knew about. And then later they'd play a different Llanowar Elves and they would still be showing me the revealed Llanowar Elves. I was like, ah, they didn't know.
Yeah. One time I was playing a game with my Grixis control deck, and I searched for his Kanta and drew so many cards so many times that it like tracks the cards you scry to the bottom, and then it just like revealed my whole deck to me, because theoretically I would know the order of it.
Even with Search for Azcanta, which puts them on the bottom in a random order?
No, it puts it in any order.
Search does any order?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Does it really? It doesn't
Yeah.
do a random order?
Yeah, I looked. I made sure because like my deck was just face up more or less. And I was
Wow.
like, "What's going on?" And I read search. I'm like,
Wow,
"Oh."
that's too funny. The question is, though, do you care that your Vraska is going to 3? And apparently you do care. Because
Yeah, I just more or less. It's mostly I don't care about the land or else. Is really what's going on.
yeah, I can see that. So many zombie elf shamans.
Ooh, look at this. You get to look at the top 3.
I didn't realize that it tracked your scried cards to the bottom.
Yeah. It's not too relevant with Surveil, but I'm sure in the future with any card that's Scry will be
No,
sweet.
I think it is super relevant to just remember that stuff. Like, so for example, the card Condemn, actually. So Condemn puts an attacking creature on the bottom of the library, so if that card existed here, you would be able to see your opponent's bottom part of the library.
Yeah.
Terminus is another one. Look at this guy, the Brawlbash Ogre. That is a biggin. One biggin. Oh, that's a good one. I mean, he only has small things.
Yeah, the sacrifice isn't great against him, but I think the rest of the modes are going to be good. I'm actually going to let my Vraska go. I don't think she's giving me much value, so I'm just going to start attacking
Yeah,
her.
that's the thing, like, I play against Vraska a lot on here because Vraska is just one of the cards that everyone just has.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, specifically this art version, because everyone was just given
Yeah.
like 3 different planeswalkers, including this one. And I see a lot of players just sacrifice lands to draw, and then they just don't have lands.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, rip.
Oh no!
Oh, he's doing it.
Oh no!
Yeah, another like mistake I see with Vraska is I think people value it too much. I think the true strength of the Planeswalker is it comes down, it kills something, and then it kind of
Soaks up damage.
yeah, it soaks up damage. It also just like baits your opponent type of thing. So I see people on both sides. Some people over attack into it, and some people over defend it. I think the key is to sometimes you should just ignore it. Like they're not gonna sack their lands forever. I think sometimes you should just give it up, especially if it already got your card worth of value by abrupt decaying something.
The emblem is pretty real, but
Yeah.
I was playing the other day and my opponent got a Vraska emblem against me. I was playing blue-black control and I still won. I just killed all this stuff. It's like, sweet, you don't have Vraska anymore. Oh, and now all your stuff's dead.
Yeah, I remember I was ignoring a Vraska, and I had my Planeswalker. Their board was clear. They had their Vraska sacking their extra lands, but I had my own planes. I had Ral, so we were basically even on cards. And every time they play a creature, I'd destroy it. And they got to 10 on Vraska, so they were able to ult. And they just thought about it. Their turn timer started ticking down. And I was like, wait, I don't have any creatures for my emblem. It doesn't make sense to ult. And they actually played it correctly and ticked it up to 12. Ooh, got something. Ooh, I could bring back my Vraska. I think I just want my true cover there.
When in doubt, go for value.
Yeah. 2 for 1 city.
How can the opponent beat this board as a red-black player?
No idea.
What is that guy's name? Angrath. Would that do anything? Probably not.
No, he wouldn't. He'd need about... That won't do anything either.
Maybe he has fling.
Sure.
His last card is not fling. Alright, he realized that he's dead.
Is there a place I could find this list? Yeah, search for the Magic Online PTQ winning deck list. This is the first place list with a good bit of modifications, but it's more or less that list.
Star of Extinction would have done it.
Ooh, I don't think he had enough
because
lands.
they can't. Does Star of Extinction prevent indestructible?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Hour of Devastation, the other
Yep.
red sweeper from last year.
Alright, here's a great question. I love how well the Dimir mechanic works with the Golgari mechanic and the Izzet mechanic. In what order did you guys design the 3 mechanics? So Surveil was designed last. So Surveil was designed as a mechanic to work with other guilds. I don't know the order of the other 2. They were probably around the same time, but the Surveil mechanic was designed last.
Yeah, it makes sense because the other mechanics are payoffs in a sense, and Surveil is the enabler for both of those mechanics, so it makes sense that is designed the last out of those 2. It'd be pretty... It'd be weird to have okay, here's a graveyard enabler, now what do we enable with this? When it's more oh, we have a graveyard guild and maybe flashback on which is it. Okay, we can make an enabler.
Yeah, generally the payoffs are designed first, and then once you have one, it's okay, now how do I make this card work and play well? Oh no, your opponent is going to make all the merfolk.
Yeah, this card's actually kind of a problem.
Yeah, because you can't even target them.
Yeah. Get my Jade Light back. Gelato Ranger, as Angel Brian would probably call it.
A gelato ranger, like ice cream?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
He just makes up random names for cards. Another Silver Guild player.
I always hate when the Silvergill player reveals a second Silvergill, and I'm like, oh my god, so many cards.
But yeah, this game's gonna take a while. I think I'm just gonna play the Eldritch Reborn next turn just because it won't get any better.
Yeah, exactly. It's not getting better. It's only going to get worse as time goes on, but at least maybe now you can get back a Merfolk Branchwalker or something.
Oh, nice. We got the Watsy_admin coming in with the clutch, giving the PTQ decklist link.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Watsy_admin, whoever you are.
Yeah, I recommend all of you to go look at those deck lists. They're amazing. I think 4th place was a Jeskai control deck. So I know this was a deck. I don't know what place it got, but it was in the top 8. Its win condition was Azor's Gateway and Expansion Explosion. So just try to, make 10 mana or something and hit you for 10, draw 10 cards, do it again. And I also like they were really clever with their mana cost difference. So they didn't play any 2-drops because Azor's Gateway, which they played 4 of, is already a 2. And so their counter spell, for example, was Syncopate, so that counts as a 1 mana spell. And they were just really clever. They had every mana cost from 1 through 6, I think.
That list did look amazing.
Yeah, I really wanted to build it, and then I realized Azor's Gateway was a mythic. So now I'm just sitting.
Oh, yeah, no, not happening.
Honestly, if it was a rare, I would have snap built the deck. I would have had enough wild cards, but I have to wait a little bit to build up my wild cards again. I already have 4 decks, and theoretically could build 2 just from 2 more. I could pretty sure I could build 6 pretty decent decks.
So your opponent has a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I kind of just didn't pay attention on his turn, and now I think I'm just dead.
How did he get all these giant merfolk? He put a counter on. Oh, yeah. Kumina. Okay, got it.
Now they're even joining. Oh man, Houston, we got a problem. I'm probably just dead, right?
I don't know how you can possibly win. You need Ritual of Soot. And I don't think you play that.
Yeah, guess what card's not in my deck?
You need, when this creature enters the battlefield, give everything -2/-2. But I don't think that card exists.
Oh wow, he had exactly lethal. That's pretty funny.
Alright. These constructed events, you get a lot of play out of your for your entry fee.
Yeah.
You can play up to 8 games.
Yeah, I've been playing a ton of constructed events the whole past week, and the individual card rewards, alright, most of the time, whatever, you'll probably get a card you don't want, but if you just keep playing them, for example, I've got 2 History of Benalias, 3 Glacial Fortresses, a set of Rootbound Crags.
Wow, you must have been playing a lot, right?
Yeah, I was playing a lot.
Okay.
But I just got all that from just card rewards. And I was like, okay.
I have not gone too deep on constructed events yet, but that's the next thing I'm going to do. I've been playing mostly limited.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm at a point where I have enough of a collection on Arena where I can probably build a couple decks. And then start doing the constructed events.
Yeah.
And then get more gold and stuff, play more limited.
Yeah, the limited events give you so much too. I feel like I kind of almost just have a set of GRN almost.
Yeah, I have a lot of GRN cards too. But I don't have, the Buddy Lands, I don't have a lot of the Dominaria cards.
Yeah, I need to go, next time I go buy a bunch of packs, I basically have to do all Dominaria cards. That's what I'm missing.
So, a viewer asked, what is your favorite color when playing MTG and why?
Favorite color?
Mine is blue because I just like having lots of options and just doing getting a lot of cards and value and stuff.
Yeah, I like red. I think so. I just generally like aggro, but one of my favorite game states in Magic is just Erase. I just love when it's coming down to that very last card, and you're just it's so intense to me. It's just it gets me sweating and stuff, and I just love those moments in any game. I just love those moments. Another thing I think I like a lot about red that not too many people talk about is I think it's one of the few colors that bluffing is really important with the color. So, for example, Modern Burn, which is a deck I played a lot of, it might be a simple deck to play. Like, it's pretty hard to, like, quote-unquote misplay with the deck, but I think actual good Burn players do a lot of bluffing. And it, you know, generally the consensus is like, oh, don't hold lanes in hand when you don't need to, and different things like that. But I think that actually, like, you have to, like, flip the script with Burn, and you have to, like, basically bluff so that they might leave a creature back in case you have a haste creature, and just buy yourself as much time to draw the burn spells you need. And so, yeah, everyone says, like, oh, Burn's just a no-skill deck or whatever, and it's like, I mean, it's hard to be a bad Burn player, but it's also hard to be a great one.
I think there's also just a different kind of skill in, like, a Burn player than a control player. So, like, if you're a control player, you're more like it's more about knowledge of the format and knowing what to play around. But if you're playing mono red, it's more about how do I play these cards in what order to do the most damage to my opponent. I think those are just two different skills, but there's still skill in both.
Yeah, and, like, even, like, a combo deck, for instance, is, like, you just have to be very mechanical and stuff, which is just something I'm not great at. You have to, like, just do perfect math or whatever. And I'm like, I can only count to 7. I just need 7 spells that deal 3 damage each. That's the only number I know.
That's all you need. If they play Healing Salve, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm so terrified of Night of Autumn as a Burn player. Like, it's kind of like a Kitchen Finks that just died already. It's just like, and yeah, I'll let that one go. I don't want to pay life anymore.
You
Yeah.
don't need it.
So, like,
you have the Siege Gang Commander
Yeah.
that you can't activate.
Yeah, so Kitchen Finks is always the card I was most scared of. Like, the top 2 cards I was most scared of were Timely Reinforcements and Kitchen Finks as a Burn player in Modern. But those cards were so specific that it was like, it wasn't, how do I put it? It wasn't so common, but, like, with Night of Autumn being so versatile, like, it might see main deck play in Collected Company decks, and, like, it would just could be a Reclamation Sage / Burn hate card. So I think that card's, like, pretty scary for me as a Burn player. I might have to, like, go back up to a bunch of Skull Cracks.
There was this card that, I guess it wasn't really a staple, but from Burn decks of the past, called Flaring Pain.
What's that?
It's a red instant, and it says damage can't be prevented this turn.
Okay.
So it stopped things like Circle of Protection. Very important back then.
That seems like an important card.
And fogs. So, like, Moment's Peace is, like, one of the strongest fogs ever. But these days it's Skullcrack.
Yeah.
It's not about damage prevention anymore.
Well, Skullcrack does stop damage prevention too.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So it does stop fog.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
I would always try this against my friends, where I would just attack my Swift Spears and Goblin Guides into their Master Waves, and sometimes they would snap block because it's protection from red. I'm like, okay, Skullcrack damage can't be prevented. Wipe all your elementals.
And that's an interaction that, like, a lot of inexperienced players just don't realize, because like, protection is just hard. It does 4 different things.
It's so confusing.
And it has a lot of nuances. Always remember DET, D-E-V-T. Damage is prevented. It can't be enchanted or equipped. You can't block it, and
can't target it.
And can't target it, of course. So you always remember.
That's the most important one.
That's how you remember protection.
So Flaring Pain, someone put it up. Oh wow, so you just played a card just to prevent the damage prevention, and it didn't do anything else.
Yes.
Wow, how far have we come? We have all that, can't gain life, and deal 3 damage, same mana cost.
Yeah, but this one had flashback.
You lose flashback, I'll give you that.
Flaring Pain was the counter to Moment's Peace, which Moment's Peace is fog, but with flashback.
Oh wow. That card sounds dirty.
Yes.
How much did it cost?
I believe it was 2 mana to cast, 3 to flashback.
Wow. That sounds like a card. What set was that in?
Like Judgment or something.
God, I don't even know what that set is.
Odyssey block. It could have been Torment. I don't remember. I think it was Judgment though.
Ooh, got the big Immortal Sun coming in. In about 3 turns of fun.
This deck's this looks so fun. Every card is a 2-for-1.
Oh yeah, it's
Like
amazing.
even Assassin's Trophy is a 2-for-1 for them.
Every card's a 2. I'm gonna tweet that when I leave. That's just facts right there. Oh, look at this. Linebreaker bag the Eldest Reborn. Bait the Brontodon into killing it, and then land the Immortal Sun.
Seems like these games are just all about baiting the thing for the Brontodon.
Yeah. You just gotta revolve it around the Immortal Sun. You gotta set up the whole game for the Immortal Sun. So I'm gonna have to go in like 3 minutes, so just be prepared to take over.
I'm gonna have to take over real soon.
Yeah. I probably won't see. I'm probably gonna miss the Immortal Sun again.
Yep. Don't worry, I'll forget one of the things it does, but I'll forget a different thing this time. So question about Tristani. Was it designed to counter Eldest Reborn? So it was designed to just pretty much counter any of those effects, whether it was Eldest Reborn or Hostage Taker or Connive Concoct.
Thief of Sanity.
Yeah, Thief of Sanity is another big one. So like, it was just an effect that just seemed relevant in Standard, and also is very relevant in formats like Commander, where people are always stealing things. But just having just another option for that format too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a good card to like kind of shore up the weaknesses of those decks. Like Hostage Taker is like theoretically such a beating against green white because they have so few removal spells. So we just like the green white deck, you know, just by virtue of it being Convoke, it has to play tokens then Convoke. It's very A+B. So we wanted to give the deck like another dimension to not just, you know, get rolled over by Hostage Taker or Eldritch Reborn.
Look at this Hexproof Vine Mare. It's a good thing that you have 3 power creatures.
Yeah.
The natural counter to Vine Mare.
Natural counter. Ooh, I at least got to cast an Immortal Sun before I leave. This card collection is pretty huge, yeah. But we got good double blocks. Yeah, similarly, Nullhide Ferox is speaking of, is like a hedge against cards like Nicol Bolas and, you know.
And Burglar Rat, as we learned.
Oh yeah, Burglar Rat. If you're getting beat down by a Burglar Rat, side in that Nullhide Ferox in your Izzet deck, and you might be able to get them good.
Also, like, there's probably a card in the format that gets a creature. I think it's in Dominaria. It's called Divest or something.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, just in case they play that and they're like, oh, that 6/6 it's quite scary. Take that one. Oh no. I mean, that's probably not going to happen, but you never know.
Well, okay, I'll let you take over. 'Cause I'm
Okay.
gonna have to leave.
Okay.
I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about what's going on in this game, but I'll figure it out.
Alright.
Alright,
Have fun.
have fun. Okay, alright chat, I'm gonna try and play this game while also talking to you guys, but I think it'll be pretty hard. Looks like we have the ability to play this Assassin's Trophy if we need to. This kills flyers. I don't think we need a land, so I can just take this yet another 2-for-1. Oh, geez, more cards. Please stop. Stop giving me all these options. I think I just want to cast these removal spells and then try and win, so I'm gonna make this guy lose Hexproof. And then just, kill that guy. I guess I don't need to kill anything else yet. I mean, he can just easily block one of these. And I'm at 20? Oh, I don't see how I lose this game. And my spells are cheaper? Oh, wow. I just have too many options now. I shouldn't use all my removal, though. So I think I can just get in there with these guys. And this guy. Yeah, let's get in there with everything. This is an easy block. He's happy to trade this. And I'm happy to trade Llanowar for Jade Light Ranger. That can enter tapped. My favorite card from Guilds is Crackling Drake. I actually have a Crackling Drake deck that hopefully I can play later. Well, I can't kill that one. Okay. Fair enough. But we can draw, like, an Eldest Reborn or something. Oh! There it is. And we had 3 chances. And more stuff. I don't need more stuff. Stop. We are digging 6 cards deep, so the odds of us drawing the Eldest Reborn are pretty high, I think. We're gonna kill all the stuff. We're gonna kill that stuff too. We'll add black. Our opponent is so dead. Our opponent had enough. Alright, so we have 5 wins, and if we win 2 more times, we double up and get 3 cards, which might be sweet, so we'll see. Did feedback from previous standard with Amonkhet and Kaladesh factor into toning down the cards in the current standard? So Kaladesh, I think, was just too powerful of a set, but more importantly, the cards weren't very fun, so one of our goals for Guilds of Ravnica was to still have powerful cards, but just make them more fun. I suppose it is toned down a little bit, but I think overall, like, Kaladesh was just a bit too powerful. Oh, sorry, I did miss the question from Jalen about do I like Commander and which Commander is your favorite. I don't play a ton of Commander. I have currently a Karametra deck that I played on the YouTube show Game Nights. Oh, do I want... I don't want this. I can't cast it. But I don't play a ton of Commander. When I play Magic during my free time, I play mostly Limited. This could either be Merfolk, or it could be the mono blue aggro deck that plays the Curious Obsession. They must have a counter, right? Yeah, they have to have a counter. Is this a wizard? It's not a wizard, so they can't have Wizard's Retort. I'm still gonna play it, though. It's a one game match. It's unlikely they have negate main deck. It's more likely they have something like Essence Scatter. And I don't think this deck wants to play something like Syncopate.
Go ahead. Your corpse will make a mess.
I'm just gonna kill the stuff. Okay. So to the comment about Rogue Refiner, that card was too strong. I do think that like energy was just misevaluated on how much energy was worth one card. Like, an energy was worth about maybe a third of a card, so 2 energy is worth like really close to a card. So a card like Rogue Refiner is just like, alright, I have this 3/2 body for 3 mana, which is fine. And I also draw a card, so it's already a 2-for-1. And I also get 2 energy, which is almost a card, so you're getting like 2.75 cards for just 1 card. Well, they didn't have negate the first time, so they probably don't have negate the second time, so we're just gonna go for it. Do you think the interaction between Runaway Steamkin and Experimental Frenzy is a bit too strong? I think the drawback, or not the drawback, the downside of Experimental Frenzy is very significant. Like, if you just hit a land twice, you just have to stop. I don't think it's too strong. I think it actually is very fun. I wonder what happens if we ever draw a second black mana. Maybe I don't attack with this because he could have that Merfolk guy. And we'll probably return to play this Golgari Findbroker. Yeah, that seems good. Alright, we win a magic card. Whoa. Okay. Pretty nice win. If you copy an opponent's Beacon Bolt, does it count your instants and sorceries in graveyard or exile? Since you control the spell, it should count yours. Yeah, more about the Experimental Frenzy deck. So red is sometimes just very generic and prescriptive. It's like, I play small creatures and I attack with them. So anytime red can just do something more interesting, I think is just a win. Sorry if I'm missing questions, like the chat is going a little bit faster than I can read. But did you consider making Eldest Reborn a rare? So the way the structure of the set worked is, so black had a mythic, a rare, and an uncommon saga. So the answer is no. I think the other sagas are just more rare feeling. What am I doing with this hand? Playing an elf into a Brontodon, probably? Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely keeping it. My favorite guild is Simic. I like the mechanics of Simic, just like playing big stuff and drawing lots of cards. So here I'm going to play the Overgrown Tomb untapped, because if I draw a black source, I may want to play Golgari Findbroker or something. So yeah, I will be paying 2 life here. I'm going to play J-Light Ranger. Fill up my graveyard for this Golgari Findbroker. So our opponent is Selesnya, so I think I might just want to keep the removal spell. I do want another black source though. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm gonna keep it though. I think it's safer to just keep it. So Tranquil Expanse and Selesnya Guildgate. So I'm not totally sure what our opponent is doing.
Probably playing some budget version of green-white tokens or something, but we'll find out. We'll just play some stuff. So let's see. What do you think of Teferi? I'm not sure what you mean. I think Teferi is a powerful magic card. If you have something more specific, I can answer your question, but I'm not really sure how to answer it. Let's see. So, I think I am the beat down this game, so I'm just going to cast down this and then swing for a bunch, especially since I have removal for his next play. So was Nexus a mistake, or was it part of the Let's Make Control Great Again movement? So I think Nexus is like more of a combo card than a control card, and yes, it did see play in a Pro Tour, but overall I would say the deck is fringe. So as far as power level, I think it's appropriate. Like, not every deck wants to play it. So I'm just gonna attack with this and then probably Golgari Findbroker or whatever he blocks. He has to block. Actually, maybe the Lanor Elf should have attacked too, because he could not block that. So yeah, that was a mistake. Let's see. How can we win this turn? We probably can't win this turn, but we can at least play some stuff. So I don't think I need to play Vraska, but I can just add stuff to the board, I think. So kill this guy. Play this tapped, and then get in there with everything. I think our opponent needs to chump. I don't think he can block the elf and go to 2. Our opponent is just so confused and has no idea what to do here. After this event is over, I can show you guys the deck list for those asking. So our opponent didn't block. Oh, maybe he has mass removal. No, he just wants to gain life. Yeah, this is just not a winning strategy. If he has like a Wrath of God in his deck, then I guess it's fine. So if we kill one of these guys, he just dies. So we'll just do this. He could have like Seal Away, I guess. Oh, okay, no, he's had it.
And what I do is
Oh, we're done. So we won our money. So we won 1,000 money and 3 magic cards. We got the Immortal Sun, nice. Blood Sun, 2 different suns. And third sun, nope, Vivid Revival. That, not a sun. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. Alright, so now we can either play another constructed event, or I can log into my account and play a constructed event with one of my decks. Which I can probably do. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, I forgot to show the deck list. Alright, so I was going to show the deck list, but I just totally forgot. So, so the deck list is the PTQ winning deck that won yesterday's PTQ with a couple of adjustments. Like Donald was playing Immortal Sun. He wasn't playing Big Vraska because he didn't own them. But he was said playing Immortal Sun and some other changes. I can have him post his list on Twitter. Oh, does this mean I get a pack? No, I don't think so. I think it's just going to show me the trailer, which we don't want to see. Alright, so the deck that I've been playing on here is this blue-red spells deck. So this is basically the deck. The mana base is pretty budget friendly because I only have 2 copies of Steam Vents and 2 Sulfur Falls, which I might just craft some right now just to make the deck play a little bit better. Oh, and then another card that I wanted to add was Chemister's Insight. So I'm gonna just do that now. Because Chemister's Insight has been like playing really well, and it turns your dead draws into real cards. So if I'm playing against control or something and I have too many shocks, I can just play Chemister's Insight and discard the shocks. So I added a Chemister's Insight. Should I add a 4th Chemister? Yeah, I have way too much removal in this deck. So let's see. What card is not so good? I'm gonna cut a shock. And I'm gonna add some Steam Vents. I don't have a ton of rare wild cards though, but I'll make some Steam Vents. And 1 more Sulfur Falls. Alright, we're just gonna have to win the event so we can get more cards. Okay. Let's see if I can navigate through this thing. Constructed event. Yes, that's what we want. 500 money. Blue-red spells. Alright. I'm not playing Niv Mizzet. I don't think the card's that good. If I had them, I would play them in the sideboard only. So the deck is basically like the only win conditions are Crackling Drakes, but sometimes you can win, I guess pretty much Crackling Drakes. Sometimes you can win with Ral, but the other win con is Fight with Fire Kicked or Banefire. This hand is only okay. It's pretty bad. Hopefully our opponent isn't super aggressive. Lazav is my Brawl commander. Okay, our opponent is playing... Oh, we did it. We did it, team. So pretty much I think what we're going to do here is Lava Coil the Pelt Collector on turn 2, probably. Oh, actually, since he played nothing, I think I'm not going to do that. So I think I'm just going to play Electromancer now. And then just, like, next turn I can hold up, I can do Essence Scatter and Lava Coil in the same turn. Not sure, but since he played nothing, I'm just going to get this Electromancer out there. If he was applying too much pressure, then I would have to reconsider. Like, he might play, like, Steel Leaf Champion here, or whatever it's called. Oh, he's playing Elves! We will not block. Oh my god, that is way too many Electromancers. Okay, I don't think I can play an Electromancer here. But I think I'm just gonna Lava Coil the 4/3 and hold up Essence Scatter. That seems like the best thing to do here. And I'm not blocking, so going to attack. If I draw a land, I can go Goblin Electromancer into Chemister's Insight, which sounds good. Yes, there it is. Okay. Have to Essence Scatter that. Considering I already used my Lava Coil. I am out of answers, though. Well... Now what do I do? Play this, hope to draw land, and play Lightning Strike, maybe? I do really want to hit a land. so tough. I think I have a better chance if I just run the Electromancers out there. But I'm not super happy about it. And at least next turn, even if I don't draw land, I can go Lightning Strike and Chemist's Insight in the same turn. That's fair. I don't get attacked now. That's perfect. What to do? Well, considering he took his entire turn off to play Conclave Tribunal, it seems like the correct thing to do is just play another Goblin Electromancer. He missed a land drop too. One card that I'm worried about is Tristani, but he's 2 turns away, so I feel okay to just tap out here. What could my opponent have since he's playing elves? Well, he doesn't have bigger creature than Pelt Collector. Cost reductions are applied to kicker costs. Because kicker is just, it just makes the cost more. Oh, Beast Whisper. Yeah, that guy I'm going to Lightning Strike on my turn. We can't have our opponent drawing cards, no way. Wow, look at all this Goblin Electromancer beatdown. If our opponent doesn't do anything super meaningful, I can like bounce this Conclave Tribunal and then all of my spells are just super cheap forever. Bounce this. Play all the Chemist's Insights. Thorn Lieutenant. What do I want to do? Well, I'm going to let it resolve. Actually, that might have been a mistake. I'm not sure what I want to do. If I want to like bounce this and just draw 2 cards twice. That does seem pretty fun though. Alright. What do we do? Do I use this and draw 4 cards? What do we do, chat? Oh, why? It's giving me... Oh, no, not the rope. Alright, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is definitely the more fun thing to do. Oh, look at this Dream Eater. I'm not sure if it's correct to play Dream Eater in this deck. It probably isn't. I just owned the card, so I wanted to play Dream Eater. Okay. I'm gonna play this Chemist's Insight right now. Tap 1 mana, draw 2 cards. That seems good. Basically, I'm just looking for an answer to a Thorn Lieutenant to see if I can get in an attack this turn. Okay, I'm done playing stuff. And I'm not attacking. Draw all the cards. I mean, this is a little absurd with 3 Goblin Electromancers. Alright, so our opponent, since he tapped out to play this, I think I'm just going to counter it. But on the other hand, I could let it resolve and then cast a Blink with Kicker with the trigger on the stack. Which I think I like doing that a little better. But, you know, it's not clear. Actually, I'm just going to counter. I lied.
Sure. Feel like this deck is just hard to play right now. I think I'm gonna play this Rel for sure. Or not. I could always just draw more cards. I think it's pretty safe to play Rel though. I have like 1 million cards in my graveyard.
Yep, I'm reckless and unpredictable.
I'm gonna give him an elf, but I'm still going to do this. And I'm still not attacking here. And now I have a Blink of the Eye up for if he plays something really scary that I can't deal with. Also, I drew the 4th Goblin Electromancer. Was that really necessary? Well, that's going to resolve. That's going to resolve. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. Okay, we're gonna cast this. Goodbye, Steam Vents. Okay. What am I doing here? I think I'm... Well, first I'm gonna just do this. Give myself more options. I'm doing that anyway.
The other one's going bye-bye.
Oh, this might kill our opponent, actually. So this is cost reduction by 3. Can I cast it right now? It costs, so it's 6 mana? No, it's less mana. This costs 9. So I can just do this right now and just kill our opponent. No, just tend to him. That's it. Okay. Sure. Sometimes you just kick a fight with fire at our opponent's face. Our draw was pretty absurd there. Attack with 30 creatures. Did we do it? No, I don't think we did it. We were playing Goblin Is It Tribal there. So if I kick a fight with fire, I can copy it with the expansion card. That just sounds crazy. What do wizards think of that card? 10 damage. Oof. Do you remember the card Urza's Rage? Fight with Fire is a callback to that. Oh my god, this is so many crackling drakes. We cannot possibly keep this hand. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna mulligan this hand. No early stuff. We'll keep this. This is better. But not that one. Our opponent is playing blue. Just like that, island off the top. I mean, we did scry our card to the bottom, like, we deserved it. I predict we're gonna deal 10 damage with this Goblin Electromancer. On second thought.
Well, we could have kept a hand with 3 of them if we had mountains, but we didn't. We had to mulligan. We had nothing to do early. Wait, where are we? We're on... Oh, okay, I see. So we're gonna replay this. He's probably gonna counter it. Yep. And then we're gonna play our other one. And our hand is actually pretty bad against our opponent because we have 2 essentially dead cards here. But at least the Chemist's Insight can get rid of one of them. Our opponent could have Seal Away. Oh, he didn't have it. Just going for it. It's probably resolving.
Right on schedule. Sorry I'm late.
So I could... So our opponent could have Negate or something. We could Banefire the Teferi, which I think I like better.
Hurry.
And you can't really do anything about that. And it can't be countered. Which is why we're doing it.
I won't let you go. That didn't pan out.
I think we fixed our camera issues. Are they fixed? I mean, they might be fixed. I don't know. So far, no one has said anything about it, though. No, not another Teferi, no!
We need to move quickly.
Stop it with the Teferis. Let's attack this Teferi and see what happens.
Want me to phase you out of time?
Gonna try and do this and hope it works.
No more games.
Okay, it worked.
Now.
I honestly did not expect that. I dislike missing a land drop here, but our opponent demonstrated that they probably don't have a counter, so I think I'm just gonna play this. And also this card acts like a counter as well, like it can counter a counter. So I think our opponent just is probably just holding more Teferis. I mean, they haven't played anything else. Maybe they're holding more Essence Scatters, actually. Ooh, do I want a fight with fire? I do not want a fight with fire. It's not time for Crackling Drake yet. I think I need to have more lands in play. I have to keep this. So our opponent could have Settle the Wreckage here, which I'm fine with. Now we have a counter for his thing. We could... Mission briefing. What are you doing? You're bouncing my thing. I don't want my thing bounced, really, but... And he can kick it too? Yeah, I don't think I like that, actually. I could also copy his mission briefing. Yeah, I'm gonna counter it. I don't really like tapping out on my turn, but kind of what's happening here.
I would rather not draw a red source. And our Azcant is flipping anyway, and I have another look anyway. Yep, I think that's okay. Could have copied it. Okay, fair enough. That is totally fair. I'm just gonna cast this now for 3 mana. I just really want to hit a land. Well, now I'll take it. My Chemist's Insights costs 3, but my opponent's cost 4, so I feel a little ahead here. Oh no! Yeah, we're just doing this in response. Goblin Electromancer, you have done your job. Alright, it's Crackling Drake time. He's so big. He's a 9/4. I believe I want to copy that spell. Copy this spell. I would not mind getting some stuff back. Ah, Syncopate. Fair enough. And he gets to fairies back in his deck, which is less good. And I also did not play a land, so I feel silly now. All right, let's try again. This deck is really tuned to beat aggro, so this matchup seems like actually like pretty bad for me. Okay. He didn't cast Chemist's Insight. That's not good for me. It seems like not playing that land was a mistake. I didn't think to play around Syncopate. I don't think I want to play Blink of an Eye here. Oh, well, I didn't expect that. I do want to draw a card here. Okay. Okay. I need this to resolve because I'm running out of win conditions. I want to counter this one, not the Crackling Drake. More syncopates. Our opponent just has way better top decks than us. But on the other hand, he doesn't have that many cards left. Well, he has one in hand. Yeah, this matchup's really bad for us. So cards we can draw here are Crackling Drake, I guess more Goblin Electromancers, and Ral, which will probably get decked with it, and the final Fight with Fire. Alright, well, you must counter this. Also for counters we have in our deck, it's Ionize, which we have one, and maybe one more Sinister Sabotage. Alright, it resolved. I do feel like our opponent just has plenty of answers, though. But we'll see. They could just Teferi and tuck it or something. Yep, there we go. Oh, so our opponent has an answer to the Crackling Drake in hand since he's choosing to draw a card. So now's our chance to draw Fight with Fire. Okay. Attack you. Settle the wreckage. Alright, now I do want to bounce this. Okay, settle resolves. No. No. I already played a land. Oh, damage. Our opponent might just need to tuck this Crackling Drake. Oh, nope, they just have a counter. Okay, now's our chance to draw the Fight with Fire. I don't think we have too many turns left. Hopefully our opponent just drew all Teferis and settle the wreckages and we can just win with the Fight with Fire.
No time for a break.
Drawing cards on his turn. Well, he does have Teferi. Alright, the Desperation Opt. Okay, there it is. This is like pretty much our last chance. It's probably not going to work. It could work. It did not work. Alright, that's game. I think we just are out of win conditions. Teferi decks are pretty rough for this one. Haven't really been reading the chat for questions, but so question I just saw, was Teferi part of the reason why blue-white is in the second set? No, the guilds were chosen like way far in advance. Yeah, only one copy of Banefire. We had the Dream Eater in the deck too, I guess. That wasn't out, but this hand seems fine. More, oh no, more blue. Oh, we're in trouble. Okay, this blue deck. That's fine. Do I want to counter a spell and look for a land, or lava coil this creature? If I choose to counter a spell, he's going to get a free look, which I'm less of a fan of, so I think I'm just going to... Do I do it? Yeah, I think I just passed the turn here. Now seems like a good time to blink of an eye this creature. But we can't kick it and get value, but like I want to interact with this guy and I'd rather not use a counter on it. So Blink was traded for Spell Pierce. He'll get a card, but we'll Lava Coil the creature, so we'll be even on cards. Our opponent didn't play a land and kept the card. Mistcloak Herald. I can't Lava Coil this guy here. I have to hold up counter and Chemister's Insight. I think I can counter this guy though. I actually would rather draw land. I don't need opt here. More Curious Obsession maybe? Yep. At least we can play around the Spell Pierce. We can't play around 2 of them though. We may be in trouble soon. Alright, Dream Eater, I hope you work. I think it's pretty likely they have a counter here, though. Essence Scatter. You are not happening at the right time. Alright, we're getting hit again. Is our opponent's hand just all counters? He has to play a creature at some point. Guess we can play this goblin first. Our opponent has so many counters. Alright, that was 3 Wizard's Retort. That's the way Curious Obsession works. If you play it on a creature, it means when it hits the player, they draw a counter spell. They've drawn like 4 cards off this thing. I'm gonna go with the Chemister's Insight first, but this one, because I kind of want to bait a counter spell here. Okay. At least now I have 2 ways to interact with this. So this one on this one, and they probably have a counter, and then I'll have another Shivan Fire, which they might have another counter. Blink of an Eye, my guy. Okay. I understand. Now seems like a good time to play this guy again. So our opponent has 5 cards. We have 2 Chemister's Insights. They have 9 lands. Seems fair. Now I have to decide if I want to play around Spell Pierce or not, or if I want to just play this kicked on this guy. I think I just want to do nothing.
Yeah, I guess I just played this kicked on this guy. And we'll see if our opponent has something. Merfolk Trickster. Oh, make my spells... Oh, lose all abilities. Which makes my spells expensive again for this turn. That's fine, though. So we're gonna get this Drake out here. And we'll hold the land for Chemister's Insight. Our opponent drew so many cards and countered so many of our spells. Yep, there's the Curious Obsession, of course. We do have a lot of removal. That's a good one. So we're probably taking 2 no matter what. We do want to hold up Sinister Sabotage here. One card in hand for the opponent, so we could attack with this guy, making him a 2-turn clock. I think that's better than saying go. I mean, we have to take this 2 anyway, and we have a counter for whatever he tries to do. Like, we're just gonna block this. So much damage. Now do I play the Chemister's Insight? I think so. Do I need a goblin? I guess I don't really need a land. Oh, this Banefire is certainly game. Because it can't be countered. And we're almost out of time, which is perfect timing because I'm pretty sure this game is just going to end on my turn. Alright, so we'll just Banefire our opponent for a lot. It can't be countered. So the Siren guy doesn't do anything. So for 8, wait, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so we have more than enough to do it. We'll target him. We did it, team. Alright, perfect timing. We're all done. Alright, thanks for tuning into the stream. I'll show you guys the deck list real quick. One of these days. We won 100 money. Am I allowed to look at it? Decks. Blue-red spells. Yeah, so this is what I'm playing. If I were to change it up for a tournament or something, I'd probably add more counter magic, like more Ionize. Like, this card has actually been really good. This deck is just really tuned to beat like Boros and Mono Red and stuff, but anyway, this is what I'm working with here. It's just a Crackling Drake deck. But we're out of time, so we'll be back next week and probably play more limited next week. Paul will be back. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.